guys, you are listening to Be Bold, Be Birmingham podcast. We are here to dance to the beat of Brum's drum, to sing the soul of our city. Birmingham 2022 is round the corner and we are ready to show you the world what a vibrant, diverse and exciting place Brum is. I'm Melzy, a presenter from Birmingham, and this is my adopted Brummie, Ben.
Hello.
So on the first episode of Be Bold, Be Birmingham, we have Martin Green, Chief Creative Officer for the Commonwealth Games. Martin Green has an insane portfolio of work he has done for both sporting and cultural events. He organised the 2018 handover of the Games in Birmingham, and Martin Green is Birmingham's 2022 Chief Creative Officer. How are you, Martin?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. I'm glad to have you here. And of course, we've got Amerah Saleh. Now, Amerah is a poet, speaker, activist, author, and more. If you don't know Amerah, you can't be from Birmingham. She performed in the handover games that Martin worked on, and we have chosen Amerah to be our voice of the people of Birmingham. How are you, Amerah?
I'm good, thank you. That feels like a lot of pressure, but we're here.
Amazing. So I know, obviously, I've spoken a little bit about your roles, but I want to hear it from your perspective. So Martin, Chief Creative Officer, big name that is.
It is quite posh, isn't it? I do all the fun stuff. Or my team, actually, because it's a group effort, of course. I'm just the gob at the front. So we do the opening closing ceremony, we do the culture festival, we do the Queen's Baton Relay, we do the live sites, we do sports presentation, medal ceremonies and welcome ceremonies and the learning and education program. So basically all the fun stuff that fits around the sport, basically.
Amazing. That seems like you do too much.
Well,
too
again,
many hats.
it is a group effort. I have the most amazing team of people who are working so hard to do something really special with Birmingham. So it's really exciting.
That's so amazing. And Amerah, what can I say about you? What can we say?
It's different. We looked up how people define you and what you do, because you're obviously like a face in Birmingham. There's so much to what you do. It's difficult to sum it up in a sentence on this iPad. So you're here.
Well, I just say now that I'm the person that can't be hidden in a crowd because of the colour of my hats. That's what I've defined myself of. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a born and bred Brummie. Very, very proud of the region and of all of the incredible things that are happening. A lot of my work is around young people and communities. So a big passion of mine is how do we make our arts and culture inclusive genuinely, and how do we do that work? And yeah, I sometimes stand on a stage and say some words in order for young people to look at and go, oh yeah, she sounds like me, she looks like me, and maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like the poetry is an element of the work that I do, but it's much more holistic in terms of engagement and community work.
Like the spoken word stuff's almost like a tool.
Yes, absolutely.
For a bigger thing.
Yeah, it started off as a craft that I'd explored as an artist, but it's now more moving towards particularly like doing something like the handover.
Yeah.
You know, biggest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And for me, the way I took it on, and when Martin approached, the way I took it on was, how do I get loads of young Muslim girls to look and go, oh wow,
yeah,
that's a space for me. That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
That's amazing.
So, Martin, you delivered the Gold Coast Birmingham handover in 2018, at which Amerah performed. Tell me a little bit about that and what the experience was for you.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and I have such fond memories of it. We didn't have much time, because you never do, and we pulled a team together, and some of them from Birmingham, some of them not, and we just set about trying to think, well, look, what's the 10-minute story we want to tell? It's a hard gig, that, right? You're in the middle of someone else's show in Australia.
Yeah.
You've got 10 minutes.
Live, right?
It's live to about 1.5 billion people.
Wow.
And you've got 10 minutes and you're in that show. And actually, I think we were the first country ever to say, actually, the one thing we're not going to do is we're not going to go to Australia. It's partly a sustainability thing, but also a practical thing. We're not going to just take hundreds of people to Australia.
Right.
We're going to do it from Birmingham, because what better set can you have than the city itself, right? Mm-hmm. That was number one. And then I think we just really wanted to do something fun and uplifted that captured the spirit of what we wanted to do. And then I was introduced to Amerah, and just, her reputation precedes her. And I guess we wanted to start with a statement piece. And I hope Amerah feels we said, look, make a statement, say what you want to talk about. And it was kind of visually, I'm not sure if we totally pulled it off, but it was like a gag where she looked like she was in the stadium, and then we burst through the doors and we were actually in Birmingham in the broad daylight, because obviously the show was happening and thing. And we recruited 750 young dancers from over Birmingham in a matter of weeks and rehearsed them. And then the other thing was we did it all in one shot, live, in front of a billion people. Now, I'm not an expert in television or anything, but I do now, when I look back, remember that when I said to the production team, we're going to do it all in one shot. It's about an 11.5-minute one-shot piece. I'd been watching loads of stuff with one shot, and I loved it. And I didn't realize that they all turned white and started shaking, and then went out of the room and said all sorts of things about me, because I didn't really realize that doing one live shot, a single shot for 11.5 minutes in front of a billion people was not necessarily a good idea.
Wow.
And
Pulled it off.
we did, but there was the producer nearly broke the exec producer's arm in the truck, in the outside broadcast truck, because he literally gripped it for 11.5 minutes. And there is, if you rewatch it, and he was amazing, one of the free runners got his timing ever so slightly wrong, and he literally goes about 3 millimeters in front of the camera and was just about to wipe the cameraman out halfway through it.
Wow.
And he was amazing, because he recovered and he hit his mark again. So there were a couple of hairy moments. And we were using new technology where they picked up the camera, big 75-foot boom arms with a new piece of magnetic thing which just picked the camera up seamlessly. Yeah. That had really never been used before. We found this new kit. So we kind of chucked everything at it.
Had you worked in Birmingham before that project? Or?
No, I knew Birmingham. I've been, you can't live any kind of creative life if you haven't been through Birmingham once or twice, right?
That's a fact.
It was my first time spending, I think I was here for 2-3 months doing it. But it was at that point that I knew that there was a permanent job just about to go out to be advertised. And it was at that point I decided that I'd apply for it, because I thought I honestly, genuinely loved the experience. It was the friendliest crew, the friendliest thing I'd ever worked on. I love the city, and so in the end I ended up applying for that job, and I got the job, and I moved here 2.5 years ago, and I love it. I love it.
What do you love the most about Birmingham?
Oh, I love the food. Most of my life is led by food, right? This is what you have to know. First of all, it's a food-based existence, right? And the food here is excellent.
Are we talking Balties?
We're talking everything. I mean, there's a new Mexican place just opened up around the corner for me, which is amazing.
Jewelry Quarter.
Yeah, the Jewelry Quarter. Have you been to the Tacos and Margarita place?
Oh
my
don't get me on tacos.
God, right? The taco and margarita place. I've learned this is advertising now, isn't it? It is amazing. I'm sorry. Well, they're a young startup, right? So why not? It's amazing. But also, curries and everything. So food is a big thing. I love walkable cities. I think that's the thing. It is everything you want from a big city. You've got a symphony, you've got a hippodrome, you've got, great centres outside of the city centre, which are culturally diverse and offer you different things. I was down with Amerah the other day having tea. And, I just love that about it. So it's a really livable city, and you can afford to live here as well.
Yes.
Mostly. I mean, it's getting a bit. But when you go and have a pint, they don't turn you upside down and take all the money out of your pockets and say, yes, it's that much, like they do in that London.
And we've got new scooters as well. So all these little scooters, you could just scoot around the city.
I'm loving this. I came here on a scooter tonight.
Did you?
I did. I love my scooter.
So Amerah, we listened back to your spoken word piece from the handover ceremony, and it was absolutely amazing. Now, by the way, if you are listening to this and haven't heard it, go and check out the episode show notes, and we'll post a link right there. Now, Amerah, how does it feel looking back at that?
I'm so much more chilled when I perform it now, and I actually smile.
Yeah.
I think I was so focused on the words and the fact that
it was powerful.
Because it's just me. There's literally less than 10 people in that hall.
Yeah, it was
and I kept being told, project like it in the stadium, but actually there was only 6 people in the room.
It does,
in the town hall.
To watch it, it does feel like you're in a huge stadium.
Yeah.
With loads of people. It really does.
So I was so focused on that and making sure that the words, and also I think I learned it the week before.
We all learned it the week before.
Creative.
But that's the reality, and
Yeah.
at the end, like literally until the week before, what I was saying when you go, we are the artists, the activists, CEOs, the cleaners, all of that was being edited.
And I feel like for me, like hearing you speak and hearing the poem, it really spoke to me because I felt like you were speaking to young people, you were speaking to old people, Black, white, Asian, and it kind of brought home to me how beautiful and diverse Birmingham is. And, you know, even your tone changed. Do you know what I mean? When you see a creative person, you see their tone change when they're speaking something that comes directly from the heart, you know? So obviously that was like 2018. We're here now. What's the difference for you? Because you've taken on the baton.
I think for me, and I always say this, like we were talking about this when we had tea the other day. Like, if my job for the rest of my life was to shout about how great Brum was, I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
It's in me. It's who I am. No matter where I am in the world, I will always be shouting about Brum, and that for me was a political statement from my side to be like, this is who we are.
Yeah.
This is who we are. And you have to embrace all of the things that we want to change about our city, as well as the things that are incredible.
Yeah.
But in order to be able to get anywhere, we talk about this in all aspects of the word. Like, we have to acknowledge things in our city in order to be better. And that for me is like, I guess the thing now is that, I'm putting over there, but the thing for me now is like, I'm really a lot more relaxed and friendly when I'm performing.
You're not as assertive.
Yeah.
To be fair though, 1.5 billion people, you say, watch that.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense. That's quite a lot of people. That's more than I can count.
Yeah.
I think in a way, you know, you look down the camera and you kind of forget it really. I mean,
Yeah.
I think on the production side, I think they're hyper aware of it because they want to get it right, but we try and keep performers away from it a little bit, you know.
And the camera guy, the incredible camera guy, was literally like seconds before we went live, looked at me and went, just read it to me. And I think it was so beautiful.
lovely.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was so beautifully, like, it was just like, just read it to me, because he could see I was like getting worked up. I was like,
Were you quite nervous?
oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. But that was also because we'd been up since 4 a.m.
Wow. So
It was a really intense
overload.
schedule, and we did it in a really short time, and everyone worked so super hard, and we were up early because I think the timings
of the
were, I think
timing,
it was
yeah.
like 11 o'clock in the morning we
Yeah.
went live in the end, and there was a lot of people to get into place and in
Yeah.
costume and sort it out. So, but like I say, I mean, I didn't have to perform. I have really fond memories of it. I had a great time.
You were just tapping the
because I
producer on
was
the
just
shoulder.
tapping the producer on the table, saying, trying not to break their arm, you know, just
I think
swanning
it's
around with the
great.
Starbucks.
I think it's so great. I feel like oftentimes, even though Birmingham's the second city, we don't get the respect as the second city. I feel like sometimes people forget about Birmingham when we've got some treasures here. We've got some talented artists, some creatives. We've got, you know, so many different places in Birmingham that you can go. Like, how do you guys feel about Birmingham always coming second place or kind of left a little bit in the dark?
I mean, I can understand it. I mean, there's a geographical issue of its geographical proximity to the capital, and I think again you'll find this with cities all over the world. You go to Denmark, and the second city is Aarhus, and you know, who's ever heard of Aarhus? There was Copenhagen, there was nothing else. So in smaller countries, it's even worse. But I think that ultimately this is one of the purposes of the mega event, and actually, the bigger the city, the better the mega event is for it, because it does one really important thing. It asks everybody in the city to work to the same clock. Right. And now that's impossible day to day for any city, because great cities are chaotic, right? And I mean that really, the more chaotic, the better they are, right? But occasionally, once in a generation, you do this mega event and everybody says, right, you need to be ready for the 28th of July in 2022. And you suddenly start seeing people being able to collaborate in a way that they haven't, because they've got a common clock, right? Yeah. And this big thing. And I think ultimately what it also does for cities is allow them to explore and stamp their identity. And you've seen this, you know, with Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, London, who've had their turn at the mega event. And now it's our turn,
Yeah.
right? And all I can see is people embracing that and using it and getting ready for it. And it's not just about the people involved, it's coming. You can use it for whatever purposes you like. And actually, entrepreneurs in a city often get more out of it because they'll go, right, everyone's looking at us. I'm going to sell what I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Go for it. Right? There's no...
The timing's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it will herald a kind of the start of that sort of 10-year cycle where Birmingham will be centre of the universe and everybody will find out what everyone who lives here has known all along, which is we're brilliant. Where the bloody hell have you been?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Where have
So
you
what
been?
you are.
And that's the attitude. Don't it's none of this emerging from the shadows or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
where have you been?
Yeah.
We're brilliant.
You're right, Bab.
You're right, Bab. Yeah.
So when we think of like a sport and an event, we think about the Olympics, we think about sports. You don't necessarily think about creativity. How are you including creativity into the Commonwealth Games?
The thing is, they are increasingly sporting and cultural events, and I think the Commonwealth Games is the best sort of big multi-sport global event at this that it accepts. The kind of really nerdy answer is that sport is codified. Its purpose is to be the same wherever you are in the world, so you can all play by the same rules, and they take place in stadia and arena that all look like each other wherever you are in the world. So in a mega sporting event, it's the culture you wrap around the sport that tells you where you are. Right? And that's why the two are so inextricably linked, because otherwise, arguably, you wouldn't know where you are because you're just watching a match, right? And so, that's what we're trying to do. So the 6-month cultural festival that we've wrapped around the games, it starts in March next year. Obviously, the opening closing ceremony is a magnificent chance to say this is who we are, this is who we were, but mostly this is who we choose to be. And I think that's what the memories come up. I mean, let's remember, the most watched moment of any games is the opening ceremony. The second most watched moment is the closing ceremony. And the third is the 100 metres final. Wow. So if you ever need an argument about the power of culture over sport, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Learn something new every day.
Beautifully wrapped up that. Very nice. Yeah.
So, 2012,
Yes.
London Queen moment.
Yes.
It's got 50 million views, just to name a few. And I actually watched it a couple of times over the last couple of days because Ben told me about it initially, and I was like, whatever, Ben, you're lying. You're making this up. There's no way that the Queen in James Bond is going to jump out of a helicopter. It's not happening.
We should probably recap what happens in the video in case
Please,
people
Ben.
So, James Bond, and by the way, in the video, the commentator says, James Bond. And that's my favourite bit. It's like...
That is his full name.
James
Bond.
James Bond. Brilliant. Love it. But yeah, essentially, James Bond picks the Queen up at Buckingham Palace.
He does, yes.
With the dogs.
In the
Like
Queen's,
with the corgis.
in the Queen's actual private apartments,
And then takes the Queen out onto a helicopter,
which is in the garden.
which is in the sizable garden at Buckingham
Yes.
Palace. Takes her up,
Yes.
flies her over the Olympic Stadium, and then both of them jump out with parachutes.
Yes. Union Jack parachute.
That's incredible. the thing that it blows my mind, presumably somebody came up with that idea and pitched it.
Danny Boyle.
Danny
Yes,
Boyle came up
yes,
with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think, if I came up with something as mad as that, I would get frog marched out of the building.
Well, this is the interesting point, because actually the way I tell the story now is as a lesson in how you shouldn't say no. Right?
Okay.
So I'd been working with Danny for some time on that show, and I'd started to learn, when ideas are pitched, don't say no. There's usually a way. And he walked into my office one day and said, I've had an idea about how the Queen should arrive at the opening ceremony. And your blood runs cold. You think, oh my God. But of course, what he then described to me was like beyond my imagination. So I think she should jump out of a helicopter. So obviously, I'm the producer, so it's my job to sort it out, right? So, but you see, this no word is coming up inside you, right? And you learn to say, okay, force it down. And you just go, okay, I'll look into that for you.
Let me see
And
what I can do.
actually, it was a really great idea. So we went to the palace and we showed them what we wanted to do with storyboards, and that it was being done with love and complete respect. And, you know, it was taken away, and no one makes any decisions about the Queen but the Queen herself. So the decision came back that she thought it was a good idea. And we thought in that meeting where they said, look, she's agreed to do it, we thought, right, you know, we want to do it actually in her apartment. Yes. We want to use the actual corgis. Yeah. We want to land a helicopter in the garden. Yeah. You know, so they were, and then I remember her dressmaker at that meeting, and you're like, I don't know, 9 months before, and you better get whoever's jumping out the helicopter in, because she's wearing this on that night, and I need to fit him, and I need to put weights in the bottom of the skirt so it doesn't come up, and we'll have to sew the handbag to the dress, otherwise that will go. I mean, completely thought it through.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And then we didn't tell anyone. We honestly didn't tell anyone it was going to happen. And we did the filming in the palace on April the 1st. And I remember the Sun newspaper phoned me up and said, we've heard you're in the palace with James Bond filming something. And I went, I don't know how I was this quick. I went, April Fool, and put the phone down.
Oh, brilliant.
And we didn't. And yeah, it was, I saw it properly, the edit, like a couple of days before the show. And we just like elevated from our seats and jumped on our seats. It was an amazing thing.
Like, just on a personal note, the way that you were able to create like a workplace culture where somebody can say something is completely bonkers as that, and for it to be taken on board.
Well, you trust the creatives. You know, we went to Amerah, we didn't tell her what to write. Yeah. And I think, you know, there's something, it's really interesting about the Commonwealth Games, because clearly it's a contested area, right? And the important thing from the beginning is being able to say, we will have every conversation anybody wants to have about this. It is not up to us to name those conversations, simply to make sure that there is a culture and an atmosphere where everyone can have the conversation they want to have, right? And you know, it's good producing, isn't it? We're here to support the artists.
Definitely.
I have a question. I'm so sorry. I'm obsessed with the Queen.
Hi.
Hi.
The Queen or a Queen?
No, the Queen.
The actual Queen.
Yeah, I don't know why. I know a lot of random facts about the royal family. Just don't ask. It's like my party trick. Yeah, it really is.
I love this.
Yeah. So
off topic.
I am so interested in who pitched it to her and what did they say, and 2, has she ever commented on it?
It was pitched to her by our staff, so we pitched it to the staff, and the staff pitched it to her. So that's how that worked. And then she gave her answer to the staff, and they came down to us. And yes, I did. I met her. I met her on the night, just before we went live, and I said, "Thanks for doing the film. I'm not sure you're just not," and she said, "I don't think you're actually supposed to. It's not protocol to repeat conversations you've had with the monarch." But she was very.
It's not like we're recording this.
I know it's not. I'm going out anyway. But she was very excited about it, and we had a great conversation about the secrecy of it all, and you know, it was amazing. And then there was quite a few of the family there, and we had quite a laugh about it. So it was done. It was done with great joy, actually, and obviously, you know,
because in my head she's a very fun person.
Do you know what she is?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
to agree
and
something
also,
like
frankly,
that.
I think she's very smart. She knows her audience. She endeared herself to a whole new generation of people that night. A whole new generation of people, and that is really smart. Yeah. And a lot of people could take a lot of notes out of her book. You know, she's the longest reigning monarch, you know, we've ever had, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. You know, because she brings people along on the journey with her. Yeah. I know, again, it's a contested space and everyone will have their view, but I think it's, you know, there's some smartness there.
Well, I've got some ideas for Birmingham, okay? So
Excellent.
I've done that for the Queen. I think we need to do some for the Commonwealth 2020 too, okay? So I'm thinking, can we put JK into a human cannon? Shoot him across from north to south Birmingham. Okay. And then maybe #0121 in the sky. Yeah. That could work. Maybe Simon Le Bon bungee jumps into a giant belty.
That would make me very happy.
Get table norms.
Get table norms.
Table norms all around.
Or we can kind of make Lenny Henry back sign projectors.
Well, look, I mean, you may have seen the other week we announced the amazing creative team who are doing the opening ceremony here. You've got 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗗 directing, whose East is on at the Rep at the moment and is sensational. You've got Maeve Clark, the Brummie writer, writing. You've got Joshua Article doing the music, who's amazing.
He's great.
And then you've got Stephen Knight of Peaky Blinders fame, exec producing. And then we've brought in, just to support them, Hamish Hamilton, who is the best TV director in the world. He did the Emmys last night. And Misty Buckley as designer, who does all of Coldplay's shows and does Super Bowl halftime and amazing stuff. And it's an amazing team. And I'm really proud that it's Brummie led, as it always was going to be. And, watch this space, because there's some really exciting conversations going on at the moment.
Yeah, and just to pick up on that, what I love about the Commonwealth game is I've seen the job opportunities go out, and it's great for a creative to become part of that or volunteer, and there's been so many different opportunities for people to get involved, and it just kind of brings this whole vibe to the city. Can you kind of describe the kind of spirit and vibe of Birmingham, Amerah?
So there's a very particular vibe that I think Brum is, and bear with me, go on the journey here. So you've left the city for a couple of days or whatever, and you're driving back, or you're on the train back, or however you're getting back, and you just land just into Brum, and your whole body just relaxes. Every muscle in your body just goes like that. That for me is what Birmingham does for Brummies and non-Brummies and everybody outside of Brum. What it is it allows you a bit more time in between things in comparison to somewhere like London, which is constantly on the go and busy. It just allows you space to breathe, and then it allows you to just be who you want to be in this city. And there's all of that space, quite literally, and I don't know, we just function at a different pace. But then that time is also time to discover who you are, to figure out who you are, to find friendships, to find family, to all of those things for me is what makes Brum. It's just space.
I completely agree with you. That really resonated with me in terms of you do go at a slower pace. You could literally come from London and be like, I need to go here, I need to go there. And you literally come to Birmingham and it is that kind of slow down. I've got time to think. I've got time to meditate. I've got time to think about what the next best step is. And I'm actually finding a lot of people are moving from different areas to Birmingham. A lot more and more every day,
And I can say, as someone who came to live here, 2.5 years ago, it's an amazingly welcoming place. I found it really, really easy to find my place and a place here. And super fun as well. Obviously before the walls came down due to that thing we're not going to talk about anymore. But it was a great, as someone from outside coming in, you felt welcomed, you felt warm, you could find your way around, and it felt like home really quickly. And I think that's a rare and special thing. Yeah.
What do you love about Birmingham the most?
Well, I'm going to talk about food again.
Again?
I'm not talking about it. No, I find it really welcoming, and I love the humor. I love the irony. It's just a really welcoming place, and it's got some really pretty bits. It's got parks. It's got really urban bits as well. And it's got challenges, and it's got problems, and it's got tension, which is unfortunately or fortunately part of what makes every global city tick. But it's also got a will to try and do something about it. It feels very active.
Yes. And
it doesn't want to let things go. And it believes it really, really means it when it talks about trying to make things equal and have opportunities, and so the organisation I work with has been rightly called to account on that really quickly, but in that kind of supportive way, which is you've really cocked this up, but this is what you need to do about it. And so you do get the solution to you as well as the thing, which is all you can ask for.
I've always found that Birmingham is a city that doesn't pretend it's something it's not as well. It kind of really owns its personality. You go to some cities and it feels like they're very presenting. Whereas it feels
He's talking about Manchester.
I'm not.
He's so... Did you know that?
I would never say such a thing. But no, I think Birmingham doesn't try and say it's something it's not. You know?
No, but also I think that what's great about mega events happening, and I really hope this happens next year, is there is a moment that it pushes everyone's shoulders back and their heads high, and they go, "Yeah,
I'm from Birmingham.
Yeah, I am." Right. And it's an amazing thing to watch that happen. I was fortunate enough to work in Hull for 4 years, and I saw that happen there as they were City of Culture, and it's an amazing thing to watch happen. It really is, because we talk a lot about legacy and bricks and mortar and economics and things like that, but the legacy of kind of pride and place and pride in place is profound.
And that stays for longer. Than
much longer. Absolutely.
We have to.
Yeah.
That's down to us.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's down to the Brummies to ensure that legacy that was worth it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it can all just go with the games.
Yeah.
And that's we can't let that happen. So we were talking about this, like the work is happening, and there's an incredible team behind making the work happen. But then it's down to citizens to keep that going.
Yeah, it's a collective act.
Yeah.
You know, what happens afterwards is a collective act, and everybody plays their part, and there's something really kind of old-fashioned and civic about it, you know, that you don't just point at someone and say it's your fault, you've got to make it happen. You know, it's your responsibility. It's a collective act.
And Amerah, from like a creative's perspective, obviously a lot of creatives or people feel like they need to actually move out of the city to make it, and we've seen it happen with a lot of people that we've grown up with, a lot of creatives that have gone on to have really good thriving careers. Do you feel like it's important now to stay in Birmingham?
Well, it's something that you were just saying there made me think of, there's a local poet in Birmingham, there's a poem that goes, 0121 don't need to look pretty. Royalty in the battlefield always has its scars. Birmingham's got plenty, but at least it's got heart. And I think every time I think of Brum, I think of that. Like, it's the grit and the heart that we have. Do I think artists need to stay in the city? Absolutely not. Okay. Because we don't own anybody as a city. And actually, I would prefer, enhance the city if there were Brummies not in Brum but flying the flag of Brum.
Right.
What the problem is people have left the city because they think it's not got opportunity, it's not got space, they can't be creative, so therefore they go and they almost unadopt Brum.
Yes.
And they remove it from their story. Whereas, am I seeing artists move back to the city? 100%.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said. I love you so much.
Yeah.
Because we fixate on this thing sometimes. Don't forget, no city has ever got greater if it doesn't welcome in friends from afar or let people go. The difficulty is when you get people who feel they have no choice but to stay or no choice but to leave. That's what's got to be attacked. And it's clear that this city is getting stickier and stickier for people, where they think, I can do my art, but I can do it from here. But actually, if you're creative, going to live in another city for a while is a really good thing. Right? So we should love this ebb and flow. We should love this ebb and flow. And we should.
It's just about doing it with pride or not even, and just about it being in your story. This is where I'm from. This is where I'm from. This is where. But whereas what has been happening in the past is almost people want to detach from Brum because it's dirty and because they're not going to get anywhere from it. And actually, absolutely, go around the whole world. You don't even have to go to London or Manchester. Go anywhere. Fly that flag and do your thing and be successful. So then you can look at someone like Lady Sanity, and the pride that I had of her being on that stage was more than I had of me after that performance. And that's what's special about Brum. The way we lift each other up as not just as artists, as creatives, as people, which is why you get a welcoming, because we go, oh, that's so interesting. Let's have a conversation.
Let me connect with this person.
Exactly.
Or there's an event.
We are naturally networkers.
That was my entire first 2 years here, just talking to people and people going. And I said, it's a really nice trick, and I'd never tried it here before. Every time I met someone, I said to them, who are the two people you think I should meet? Because I'm not going to know them, and I'm just going to be in my bubble. And they said, oh, you should meet this person, this person. And it's just, I'm giving that as a top tip. It was a really interesting thing to do. I said, who's the two people I should meet? And it went out, and it was so great. And now, obviously, it's not me anymore. It's the team. We've got a team. Most of them are Brummies in the team. So Did
nobody mention me at all?
Every time. Finally, I'm here.
Just checking my
Careful,
notes.
you'll get roped in. We're just going to rope in everyone in the end. Literally everybody.
Right, okay. So you are more or less a Brummie now, okay? We can
Honorary.
confirm that.
Adopted.
Right? Amerah, you're a Brummie. Brummie, you're all right, Bab. All of that.
Yeah.
Take me on a 24-hour tour.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
we start breakfast.
Breakfast.
Seems like a sensible
Yeah.
place to start.
yeah, I would go breakfast at Chai Wallah.
This is where you took me.
Yes. Desi breakfast specifically with a karak tea.
Okay,
That's what
yeah.
we're getting. It's on
That's what we
Ladypool
like,
Road.
specifics.
And we're going to walk there
Okay.
because sustainability. So the
Okay.
whole 24 hours is walking.
Oh, is it walking?
Yeah.
You don't look
Oh,
so
and we've
pleased about it.
I'm like, it's not a good face for a podcast, is it? But I just want to say, give them a walking face. Or scooters, because they're green,
Scooters.
right? The orange scooters are green.
But
and
you're going to see
sustainable.
more walking.
Buses.
And also, if you follow me, we can find the way where scooters
Okay,
can't
where
get
are we
to.
going
Like,
next?
we're cutting.
So
Where
we've
are we
had
going next?
breakfast.
I would say, like, we're going down. It's all food.
Yeah,
So you're
it's
gonna love
good.
it.
Where
Okay.
food is up now. Where food is.
So then we're walking from Ladypool Road up to Stratford Road.
So are we at Stratford Road in time for mid-morning, like, cake?
We're yeah.
No,
So
don't be taking me straight to lunch.
no.
'cause there's,
So we're going for like
there's something in
Bismillah
between.
Bakery.
Right, excellent.
11s is.
Yeah.
Getting some cake.
Yeah, nice.
Walking around, probably loads of bit shops.
Yeah.
Loads of
Oh,
bit
yeah.
shops, and I don't know, but I love a bit shop. You know that shop that does everything?
Oh,
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
chandeliers and prams.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Bits.
I love those
So
shops.
I call them bits shops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the independent version of Hemmers, like the bit shop, and everything is in there. So we'll
we
go
take-
to a couple of them.
Yeah.
Mighty cute. It's a knockout down the Stratford
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
And then we're walking up the bridge towards Coventry Road.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to walk past the Blues Ground,
Yeah.
past St Andrews, and then walking down, and then we'll land at somewhere. Actually, we're going to land at Momo's, which is a Yemeni place to
Yeah.
eat.
Okay.
And we're going to eat Yemeni food.
This
for
is top
lunch.
tips.
This is top tip.
I mean, this is good, right?
Yeah.
Momo's is good.
Momo's, yeah, amazing, isn't it? So, yeah, we're going to go there.
Okay, Yemeni lunch.
Yemeni lunch is like rice, lots of bread, lots of carbs.
Good.
Yeah.
So
It
then,
almost feels like you're selling it to Martin. I'm like, yeah.
I'm
Yes,
there.
I'm there. Let's keep it going.
to be honest, if I could be paid to just take people on a day of brunch, just eat loads of food, I'm winning. So then you go to Momo's, we're eating loads of carbs, then we're having tea after. Adeni tea now. So that's Aden is a city in Yemen, it's the capital.
Okay.
So we're drinking Adeni tea after.
Okay.
It's quite as thick as Karak tea, desert tea. Then we're walking down Coventry Road. We're getting to Small Heath Park because we need to walk off the carbs.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
It's a carb heavy lunch. wasn't
Yeah, we're going to take a couple of laps around the park.
Missions.
I did that on
This is where
purpose.
I'd be back. I'd say missions.
I'll just sit on this bench.
I'm just gonna wait here for
I'll
you.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah,
all
yeah.
the way back.
I'll just sit here.
Yeah. And we're going to carry on walking down because it's quite a long road and it's really lovely.
Yeah, loads going on.
Loads going on
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Don't drive down there.
Yeah.
That's my top tip.
Yeah.
Ever.
Driving down there is just a nightmare.
Ever.
I can see why you would walk now. It makes sense. Yes.
See?
Yeah.
Because the places I go, like Ladypool Road, Stratford Road,
Yeah, yeah,
Coventry Road,
yeah.
you just don't drive down there.
Yeah.
So-
I'm going to take that tip on.
Yeah.
Just write that one down.
You walk down Coventry Road, you're going to loads of bit shops. We're going now past the Asda to the other side of Small Heath.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still with you.
Yeah, you still with me?
Yeah. I know
You're with
exactly-
me visually.
I'm with you visually.
There you
Like,
go.
I can see. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a Google Maps in your, like Street View in your head.
Literally.
Yeah.
She's saying places that I'm very, very familiar with.
That's
So can we stop off at Asda and just get a little bit of bottle of water and some chewing gum?
now because we got it from the bit shop
Okay. We've got it.
because they sell 10
Cheaper.
bottles of water for £1.
With you. Yeah. Boss man helped us out with that.
That absolutely,
Yeah.
and also you can get a crate of 24 waters for £1 from Coventry Road just for future.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah. Then we're going down the highway.
Okay.
You know which one? Small Heath.
Yeah.
Down to Gamco Sharif Mosque.
Yeah, the big mosque the beautiful mosque on the corner.
So we're gonna go in.
Yeah.
Because there's always free food.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're just gonna have a look
Yeah,
because
okay.
it's beautiful. It's very
It's
pretty.
lovely. It looks beautiful from the
Yeah.
outside. I've never
And
been
it's a
inside.
shortcut.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we're gonna lock it back up the back of Small Heath Park
Yeah.
this time
Yeah.
to the other side of Small Heath. And there's some really, really lovely and I think underrated / not known of curries, curry houses, grills, all on that, going up to the Swan.
Okay.
Very specific.
I need to pick your brains on those curry houses because I know a few in Ladypool Road that obviously like everybody knows, but
you know what, Ladypool Road is not the best for curries. It's got a couple, but it's good for like the halal versions of the mainstreams. That's
like the steaks, the burgers, having desserts. You've got the desserts.
The True Burger, the Taros, place.
Can I do a city set version of this?
Yeah. Margarita.
Let me do a bougie version of this.
So I'm waking up in the jewellery quarter, obviously. I'm going round the corner about, late. I'm going round the corner to St. Kitchen for like smashed avocado walking. No, my driver is picking me up. I'm going round the corner to have smashed avocado at St. Kitchen, which is lovely.
Beautiful.
Some eggs on the side,
obviously, poached.
With a bit of smoked salmon there.
Yes, absolutely. Whilst reading The Guardian.
We like that.
And tutting loudly. And then we are going up to have, we're just going to have a walk around the jewellery quarter because there's some really nice little independent shops there. Also some great hairdressers and stuff, so you can like get it all done. And then we'll have lunch at that fantastic tacos and margaritas place that's just opened up, which is fantastic. And then we'll go into the city centre, I think, for dinner and just go somewhere chainy and fabulous, like the Ivy or just a bit like Gauchos or that place on the corner with the tapas where all the footballers go. Into that one, do you know the one with the...
That's Iguana.
So, no, it's not... Yeah, Fumo, that's it, where all the footballers go.
Yeah.
And then we're off down Gaytown all night. We're going to start the Loft for a couple, and then we might move on to Missing, and then we'll just find ourselves falling out somewhere. Where's that Fabulous or Gorgeous, that place? What's it called? The one with all the drag queens. Oh God, what?
Nightingales, is it?
No, that's the club. I'm too old to go in there.
It's not the Grand, is it?
No, there's a place called Fabulous or Gorgeous or something that has all the drag queens and is open really, really late. That's why I can't remember it. I've probably been there a million times. Can't remember where it is or what it is. I've been there loads of times. So that's there we go. And somehow we'll bring those two together,
I was just going to say Saturday, Sunday, sorted.
Saturday, Sunday, of course.
Sorted.
So Ben, who are you going with? Are you going 24 hours with Amerah or 24 hours with
that
mine?
feels like you've just divided us.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think I've had 24 hours. I've had Martin's 24 hours a few times. I don't think I hate the phrase hidden gems, but I think you'd show me some places that I had no idea.
Yes.
In another life, I'd be like a tour guide.
You should be.
Yeah, I actually thought I'd be a tour guide one day.
Did
So
ya?
here we've got here on the left.
From listening,
On the
And
right.
I'm obsessed with facts.
Yes.
It's like one of the things I love knowing facts. I think I'd be a really good tour guide.
from listening
This
to
building.
you talking about how you're getting around the city, I'm picking up that you know a lot of shortcuts.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You have to.
I like that.
In Brum,
I
you've
like
got to know the shortcuts. You've got to know where to drive and you've got to know where the parking is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't really call them shortcuts. I call them back roads.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Waze has got nothing on me.
Yeah, you've got to. I absolutely love that. So if you could say to young people or anybody that's watching this podcast or anybody that's watching at all, why should they watch the Commonwealth Games 2022? Why do they need to be there? They need to watch it. They need to experience the vibe, the energy of Birmingham. Why?
I think for me, you need to experience is where I'd go. Whether that's you have the privilege of having a ticket, you've seen it online, you are seeing all of the lovely stuff that's around it, whether that's, in the communities, the art and culture, all of that, experience some of it because it is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And to be able to do that and to say, I experienced that specific night or that specific sport or, it's just beautiful. And there's almost an element of pride that will be instilled, I think, naturally by the energy of the Commonwealth Games happening. Yeah. There will be a pride. You'll almost turn up to an event and you'll be like, oh, this is Brum. This is the West Midlands. This is everything that it's about.
Yeah.
So, in order for us, I urge Brummies to go and do that, because in order for us to be able to hold that legacy in our city, we need to be able to experience it so we know its value.
Yeah, I love that.
There are 3 magic words here, right? And it's when your city goes through great change, when your city hosts something that the world is watching, and when, 12,000 of the people in your city have volunteered to help, and your sports stars are here and everything. And there's these really important 3 words, which is I was there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's something you own and keep for the rest of your life, right? Now, at the very least, have the option of being able to say, I was there, right? I guarantee you'll use it again and again and again, whether you're going to some of the cultural, whether you're at one of the free events, whether you can find a few quid to buy a ticket, whatever you do, right? Because there's so much about it. Just be able to come out the other side and say, yeah, I was there.
So thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of Be Bold, Be Birmingham.
Yes.
Check out all things Be Bold, Be Birmingham on the Birmingham City Council feeds. Subscribe and share with your mates. Have the best day. Be bold and be Birmingham.